Join us on a journey beyond reason, where we have chats and discussions about the in between and far beyond.
Hi, everybody. Today we're going to talk about downloads.
What kind of downloads are you talking about?
So, Claire, what kind of downloads? Well, a lot of people think that the downloads are what we download onto a computer from the cloud or a drive.
That's one kind of download.
Right. But then a lot of the spiritual community already refer to downloads all the time, and we all know what we're talking about.
Because this is beyond reason, so it's
Yeah,
gonna be
it's
about...
beyond reason. So we're using the right side of our brain.
Are you talking about cards? Because usually you're all about the cards.
Well, the cards are mostly a prompt. So when I use the cards, they direct me into a focus, and then I get the information from the creator, the spirit, the divine.
So you download all the time.
Through me, so I'm downloading all the time, and the feeling you get when you download is different.
It's great.
It's different kinds of feelings. It depends on what you're downloading, right? So I wanted to talk. Is there anything else you want to say about downloads before I talk about Pluto?
She's going to talk about downloading from a planet, and then I'm going to talk about having a download from spirit in a lucid dream.
Ooh, a lucid dream.
So I can't wait to hear about your down. I know what it feels like to have a spirit download in my sleep, where I don't sleep all night. Instead, they go, they just give me all this information. Sometimes I actually wake up and I type, and then it's really fast.
Wow.
It's super fast.
Wow.
And I gotta type as fast as I can.
Type, yeah.
Yeah. So sometimes it's like that. That's the one I'll talk about. But how does a planet download?
Well, one day I was studying charts, right? I'm a Vedic astrologer, for those of you who don't know. And I was studying charts, and I was particularly looking at my chart, and I was looking at Pluto. Now, Pluto is the planet of transformation. It's the planet of power and control. It's the mafia. It's
I don't know
death.
what that means.
It's Scorpio. You don't
The
know?
mafia?
Yeah, mafia rules Pluto, or Pluto rules mafia. So if you want to find out if somebody has a slant towards being involved with the mafia, you could look at Pluto. Right?
See, I wish that made sense to me, but it doesn't. I hope you can help me understand.
Oh, well, let me talk about the download
Yes.
I had. So I was studying the chart in my chart, Pluto, the transit of Pluto. And right now, Pluto being the planet of power and control and transformation, death and transformation. It's the same as Scorpio. It's the same as the 8th house in a chart. And so I was studying it in my chart, the transit and where it is in my natal chart. And all of a sudden, it was like I was getting this download of information, and it involved feelings. And it was like a feeling of this being, this separate being coming in and speaking to me and giving me this feeling. So I felt Pluto actually embodying me. And it was so... Are you feeling that?
Yeah, I did. It kind of feels like being under a waterfall.
Oh, it was so powerful.
Wow.
So it was so powerful, and I heard these words saying, "The time is now."
Oh,
And
it's intense.
it was so, and Pluto is the most intense planet that we know of.
What
today.
did it say after that?
So,
That sounds really intense.
so it was so intense, I couldn't even function. So I was like this. And I was just receiving the information and the feeling and the download of the energy of Pluto. And I'm sitting at a table like this with my computer with the chart in front of me. And all of a sudden I was like gripping the table, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I think I'm going to pass out. I need some water. I need some electrolytes. So I get up, and I'm like hanging on the table, and I have to hold on to things as I walk into the kitchen. Okay. And
Sounds like
I'm
they
like,
took you off of planet Earth.
I'm like putting electrolytes in my bottle of water. I'm like, oh. And then I chug the whole thing down. I'm like, oh my God. And then I have to go lie down. and I had to lay down for an hour, and I'm getting
Oh,
the
wow.
feeling of Pluto in my life and in my future life and in the life of the world. And it was, phew, it was like sitting down at the table with Pluto.
Are you going to write all of the
I
information
started
that
writing.
you got about it?
I started writing.
Because I see you writing it.
I did. I started writing.
Because
And
sometimes it's hard to verbalize everything you get in a download.
It really
You
is,
have
you know.
to write it down.
It is, and I have to kind of act it out to give the feeling of what
You
it was
did a
like.
really good job. I can't wait to see this playback.
Oh, good.
You going like this. You really
Yeah.
brought me into that feeling.
So, as in the previous episode, you know, we were talking about how Mars, and I pulled the solar plexus card, which is Mars, and how Mars is the warrior. Well, Mars and Pluto were opposite each other.
Weren't they
New
both
Year's
in
Eve.
retrograde at the same time too? Mercury and Mars in
No,
retrograde?
Mars is retrograde, but Pluto is going direct right
Oh,
now.
it's Pluto. We're talking about
Yeah.
Pluto.
So
I'm sorry,
Pluto, so Pluto is the higher octave of Mars. It's funny because I'm feeling that Pluto's very happy that I'm talking about it right now, or him, I should say him. But Pluto is a higher octave of Mars, so it's the planet of power and control. It's power, just anything that has to do with power. And wow, tell you what. So, you know, we were talking about how the planets are considered by the Vedics to be alive, and they're called grahas, and they pull on us. Well, I personally experienced it because when I gaze at a chart, I'm going into meditation and contemplation, and I get downloads from whatever planet I'm focusing on, and they speak to me. And this one spoke to me so much. I'm telling you, Pluto is to be respected, and because I almost passed out from that. And so now I have a whole new growth. I grew from that.
Do you feel like it lifted you off the earth?
Yeah, I felt like I
Because you
was
were-
leaving my body or something.
Yeah, because that's what I'm
If that's
seeing.
what it's like.
That's what I'm seeing is that's where
'Cause
you
I
felt,
felt like I was
you
gonna
were gonna
pass
fall.
out.
Yeah, because you were being taken. That's what it feels like to do astral travel. You feel like you're falling,
Oh.
and you have to fall. You have to release your spirit from your body to do that.
Wow.
You might want to have someone around next time you want to talk to Pluto, just so you have someone in the room. But you know that sweetgrass oil on the third eye can
Sweetgrass oil.
help you astral travel too.
Oh, I didn't know that. So that is my story of the download of Pluto. So tell you what,
Do you want to pull a
they're
card on
alive.
Pluto?
They are alive. I want to use the weight tarot.
That one.
Well, look at that. So aces, ace of pentacles, aces mean yes. So it's just a big yes that this is real. And it could even mean Pluto. See, it's one circle, it's one disc. That could be Pluto. That could be a planet that we're talking about. Presenting Pluto, presenting to us. And aces are yes. It's a yang energy.
A young energy or a yawn energy?
Y-A-N-G.
Y-A-N-G. I thought you
Yawn.
said yawn. It's making me want to yawn.
I doubt that.
A yawn, not like yang, but yawn.
Yang. It's also pronounced yang amongst
Ah.
other.
Dialects.
You could say that.
Peoples.
You could say that like acupuncture wrists.
I still feel buzzed. We have this crystal in here and a monk.
Should I
of
show it to him?
Yeah, I mean, if you want to touch
Okay.
it again.
Sure.
But
why not?
it definitely makes you feel you don't need any drugs. All you need to do is touch that crystal, and it makes it's tingly feeling, and yeah. So
Right. So I bring this to my card readings.
so I'm not
crystal.
functioning normally because that
Is
we
it
even-
giving you a download?
we even cleared.
Is it giving you downloads?
Nope. Just I have visions of the person, partaking of different, like hallucinogenics.
Oh, the person that
The person that had that in
handled
there.
that before I got it? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, ceremonies.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and
Shout out
involving.
to Letty about that crystal. So,
It's a very powerful crystal. If you want to just kind of feel like you had a glass of wine, that's all you got to
she's
do
the
is
one who
hold on
gave
to
it
that.
to me, and it was given to her
Oh, that's so cool. It's
by
very
a
powerful.
monk. So, yeah.
So the type of
So-
download you had sounds similar to my spirit downloads, except for
Yeah.
it was a planet. But I also feel like planets are spirit.
Sure, they're entities, they're beings,
Just
they're
like
bodies.
just like plants, when you walk near a plant, it moves towards the person that waters it, that loves it.
Oh, it does.
They can show it on slow motion photography or video. The plants actually
Oh.
kind of move toward
Oh,
the
that's
person.
really neat.
And it happens like within 2 miles of them coming home.
Wow.
The plant starts to get excited that the person's there.
I've
if
never
it's-
heard of
even
that.
if it's not a watering day. That's when I had that download of the plants. Remember I said I had a download all night of plants?
Can
And
you
then
imagine that?
you can hear plants when they put I'm sure you can look this up and watch videos.
Well, I
on
bet
it.
that happened, with the indigenous people before they wrote books about how to use herbs.
They
all they
probably
had to-
told them, yeah.
All they had to do is just go out and forage.
I keep seeing this one plant that it's red again. It's like a burgundy color,
Uh-huh.
and it has like it's like a mushroom shape, except it has a bunch of holes in the top of it, and it moves like it really moved in my.
Is that a
dream.
Venus trap?
No, I
A Venus flytrap plant?
No, it looked more mossy, but it like moved almost like an animal. And I mean, that was just the other night I had that.
Wow.
So the plants thing is
That's really
something
amazing. So you
interesting.
could probably go out in the woods and start foraging, and the
I would
plant
love to forage.
would talk to you and say, "Hey, come get me. You can use me for fill in the blank."
Yeah, I feel like that's one of my past lives.
Yeah. And that's an
Yeah.
indigenous,
Yeah,
the
the
indigenous
medicine,
people.
a medicine
The
person.
medicine women, yeah. So that's pretty neat. Please
But-
put in the comments if you have any experience with that or what you think about that.
Yes. Have you ever talked to a plant? Have you ever felt like a plant was following you around, growing in a way so that it was more moving toward you?
Like moving towards you.
Yeah, like when I'm around a bonfire, the smoke always goes to me.
Oh, wow.
I'll move away and then it goes to me, and
Like
I'm
a
like, I
magnet.
feel like there's a smart aleck in spirit going, make it so she can't breathe. But I had another download. I had a download about a game, and I'm not going to say much about it because it's something that I'm supposed to make, and it was all night.
Another creation.
Yes, an invention of a new game. So I was woken up, and then I pull out my laptop, and then I just type whatever they say. And then in the morning, I mean, when I get to the point where I'm just too tired anymore, I close it. And then in the morning, I look at what I wrote, and I was astounded. It's like an entire game, and I can't wait to bring it to fruition. And
Me too, because I love games.
it's a spiritual game, so
Nice.
they even gave me the title, and they did that about this, the Beyond Reason podcast.
Oh yeah, how did
Remember
that come?
that?
How did that come to you?
Well, first
What's
I've
the
been
story behind that one?
I just kept being told to do a podcast and by myself kind of thing, but I was not getting around to it. And I believe you were also being told to do one, and
then we got to
you
talking.
didn't get around to it.
And then we got to talking, and in my
Remember?
chart, I'm supposed to be online. I'm supposed to have an online presence. So I'm finally getting around to it.
And we were both nervous about coming out of the psychic closet.
Yeah.
So one of the things that Spirit wrote,
I'm not so nervous anymore.
well, when I did the download, Spirit was making fun of us. Remember the words? I don't remember what I wrote. I'll write it in the show notes after. I'll pull it up and find the smart aleck.
Oh,
So they
really?
said, remember?
Oh, yeah.
'Cause I was like, well, what are we going to call it? Once we decided that we were going to do the podcast, then we were trying to figure out what name. What should we call it? And neither one of us wanted to have psychic in the name. And we couldn't think of anything that didn't have psychic in the name that felt good. So that's the night of the download. And not only did they give us the name Beyond Reason, and that was like all the way
That
at
was
the
one
bottom.
of many names.
That was almost the last one. And at that point, it was so
Yeah.
perfect because it's,
and we both liked it at the
Yes.
same time.
and
Yeah.
I typed for, I don't know, about an hour and a half and all these different names. We couldn't think of one name And they had a list this long of names that were viable names for the podcast.
Oh, that's when they woke you up at 3 a.m.
Yeah,
with all those names.
they do that often. But yes, but it wasn't just the names. Then it was topics, and then it was things that we could call different scenes, and it was incredible. It was 3 pages long of information that
Yep.
just flowed in and just
Lots of reading.
and then I wake up in the morning and I'm exhausted because I worked all night. Because then I analyze the information that I've been downloaded and walk through it and go, well, what if we do that? What if we do that? And then I have lucid dreams of her and I talking about it. So then we get together and I go, well, I already saw us talking about it.
I don't even have to participate. I can sleep while she works.
So these downloads are incredible, and that's actually partly how I invented some of my products, which are in the sewing industry. And you can find out more about that on my personal website in the show notes, should you be interested in that. But
Yeah, I have a sweater I wanted to ask you to repair for
Yeah.
me. Please.
actually, there is a product that I have that where I reassemble lace. So I actually
Oh.
do enjoy that particular one. You would really flip out if you saw how we can do
that's
that.
amazing.
That's
Everybody
another-
has to have a creative artist in their life. So grateful
So
for
what
you.
other downloads have you had?
Oh, recently or in my past?
Yeah, we're
Well, most of the downloads I get recently are like when when you get around certain people and they act as a catalyst for you and you start to like open up and be more receptive and responsive to downloads and information from other sources. So like when I'm around you, it's very easy for me to get the downloads and information, and I'm sure it is for you too.
I feel
right?
like when I feel your body, it's a download.
Oh man, wow,
Because
that's amazing.
like when you brought out all your food and vitamins
yeah.
that time,
Mm-hmm.
and I was just
Yes.
downloaded all the information you needed to know about those foods. That's
Right.
another
So I
type
brought
of
all my nutraceuticals and things that I eat and used to drink and everything, my teas and stuff. And Claire got her guidance download to assist me in whether it was good for me or not. So that
Yeah,
was
like,
really helpful.
I would on one bag I touched it and I was like I got sick. I'm like, this is really not good for
Was
you.
that the one
Well,
that
why is
was,
it not good for me? I don't know, but this is making me sick.
because it was imported from China?
I think that was it. I think it was the packaging
Yeah,
on it.
like a
You
metallic.
gotta watch out for things brought in by China
Like a-
right now. They're not. There's no way that they're able to analyze what's being put in products made there right now. And
they
I was
radiate everything.
told that you need to really be careful about what you use from China right now. Temu, that company,
Mm-hmm.
is. So I would just be wary.
Is that going to flag us, do you think?
I don't know. Might
We'll
have to
find
bleep
out.
me if I have to bleep me.
No, we'll find out, won't we? So, and when I'm studying charts, it's so funny because all of a sudden I'll get into this download scenario where there's a method to read a chart. Usually you go for the first house and then you follow it around with the ruler of the houses. But sometimes I get guided and directed to focus on just one planet or maybe 2 planets. And I'll just go to that.
Yeah, that's
and
kind
then
of inspiration's kind of like a
it's
download.
like a psychic reading of a scientific methodology of horoscopes.
So like how I see you. Like I have flashes of you with the calendars,
Uh-huh.
and they are floating above you. And then you
Oh.
pull one down,
Oh, I love
and then
that.
you do things with it, and then you throw it back.
Oh, that makes me think of
I mean, this is a vision that I've had many times of you.
oh, wow. That makes me think of the holograph where they,
Yes, like
in
that.
the movies, they
Yes.
show where you move things around
Exactly.
like this. Yeah.
That's how I see you.
Oh, that's really
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah, so that's what I'm doing. I'm looking at a chart, and in Vedic astrology, there's a lot of charts to choose to look at.
So, on the cards, how would a download occur on a card?
Well, I mean, I'll pull a card, and one card can have many meanings, so so why am I pulling this card? So I'm just gonna,
You were inspired to pull that card.
I was
Okay,
inspired. I
so-
just
So
usually
that can be another download. ish.
Well, that's how I do it. I used to like look for the energy by running my hands over it, like we discussed in I think the first podcast or something. But now I just trust the process and I just grab.
I don't.
And
If I look at the cards and I'm like, I look for one that calls to me and then I'll pull it.
that's one way to do it too. But I do it the way I do it. This is how I've learned to do it over the years.
You're proficient. You're way more proficient.
So I trust the process. Thank you.
Yeah.
And I trust the process and prudence.
Yeah, your trust level is incredible.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, it's really good.
Awesome.
That's the biggest
That's
thing
really nice
about
feedback.
doing this. You have to trust yourself.
You have to
have to
trust the divine. You have to trust source, that this is actually a partnership with source, with the divine. So
Even though this isn't Pisces, but I feel a Piscean feeling about this card.
Oh, you do? Is it because
Is
it's
there a
blue?
reason? No, aren't they all blue?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're
You
all,
pulled the world.
They're all blue.
We have to pay attention to what you pull.
Okay.
So the world is reaching the world. It's wise to reach the world. And Pisces is also water. So you're feeling Pisces in the Prudence card.
Is that a fish? Is there a fish in it? Is that why? Whoops. Is that a fish?
I don't know. You want to
And
look
it's
close?
what? Right here. Oh, it's not. It's a snake. Oh, it's the medical snake.
The caduceus. The
Wow.
caduceus.
I saw a fish in it. So
Well, they're
that's funny.
similar, I guess. But yeah, so this is reflecting in the mirror and asking self, am I making the right decision? And prudence is it's wise.
That makes sense for how
The
I felt
world is
lately.
reaching the world. So we're hopefully reaching the world by being online with this video.
Yeah.
You know, so the download is it's amazing how we have the internet. Once the internet made available to us, how we were able to have such easy access to information, and so much information was made available to us, and so now we can share our gifts with the world easily from a room in our
Exactly.
local area. So it's pretty amazing.
Now all these private conversations are not private anymore.
If we make it that way. Yeah, absolutely. So the downloads I get from reading charts are incredible, and it feeds my soul, and it's part of my dharma, and I'm supposed to do this, and I love doing it. I'm grateful for it.
So I had spirits all over the house last night. Mist in the house.
Oh, yeah, the mist.
Mist here. I couldn't see my own face on the screen that we look at when we're filming. It was misty. So I don't know if last episode, if it showed up on the camera, or if it was just my vision,
Was it you
third
or
eye
just you, or was it everybody who was around
because
you?
sometimes there's photographs of me and you can't see. There's a mist in front of me and goes over my eyes.
Mm-hmm. Do you still see it right now?
No, it was last night, but I asked everyone else, I go, do you see the mist? And they're like, no. And I go, it looks like there was a fire and there's
course,
smoke in
and
the
of
house.
course I shared the latest news with you.
Which latest news?
The latest news that there's been in the news a lot of
the chemtrail thing?
Well, chemtrails, and there's been a mysterious fog that has been settling on in a lot of cities. A fog and a drizzle, and
That's what it was like. It looked like fog.
mysterious.
It looked like fog. It looked just like the house when my dad died. It was a fog, and it feels like a portal. It feels like the doors open. Oh, it's the veil. They just showed me.
Oh, it's the veil.
They open the veil when they take someone. So that's what it looks like. To me, it's mist. And I got a yes. To me.
Wow. Was it any like the veil from this world to the next?
Yes.
Oh.
So, 'cause it wasn't like one spirit here and another spirit here. It was just mist.
Remember when I
just had
pulled
two
Scorpio in that
hallucinations.
last reading for you in the last episode? The Scorpio is the 8th house of the other world and the hidden. Because the other realm is hidden unless it's revealed to somebody like you.
Because generally when I see spirits, it's either the body or an orb, not an entire envelopment of a room. and no one could see it but me.
Isn't that interesting?
So it was.
Does it make you feel alone?
I used to
Like
feel
you're the only one?
odd, like a strange, like I didn't fit. And I know a lot. I've watched other mediums say the same things. They didn't feel like they fit,
Yeah.
like they were out of place.
But
Yeah.
the beauty of the internet is we can find each other now, and
Mhm.
it's not so lonely or alone anymore.
Yeah, being
So-
quiet for years of not saying things, seeing people and stuff, and not always
Mhm.
knowing if I am seeing what I'm seeing. Like I had I'm still not. That's right. They're saying yes. It was my guardian angel, or an angel,
Mm-hmm.
and she appeared. Oh, it was one of my ancestors. Oh, they're reminding me. Sorry.
Okay, good. Awesome.
Getting a little download. So I was
Oh, good.
walking home from junior high, and a woman all of a sudden appeared out of nowhere, and she looked like I do now. Well, she looked like I did in my 40s, but when I wear my hair natural and it's all wavy, and she walked up to me and she goes, "Don't worry about how you feel right now. When you're 30, you'll be expected to know all you know, and you won't stand out. You won't feel out of place." And then she walked around me, and then I turned to watch her, and I saw the back of her head and it looked like my hair, and then she just disappeared into nothing. So sometimes I
Wow.
see people as if I could touch their clothes. They're completely solid.
It's like something out of the Twilight Zone.
So that's
That's amazing.
That's just one of my.
I've had quite a few
Full
friends who have had very interesting, mysterious, out of this world experiences with seeing beings who are like tangible, like you can touch them, but nobody else
Yes.
sees them.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a
A
guy
lot of
sitting
friends like
next to
that.
me, and his uncle in spirit came and walked up and talked to and was looking at him. He didn't speak. In fact, that woman was only. I shouldn't even count. I can't be sure, but at least 5 that
Approximately.
spoke.
Wow.
Usually spirits don't talk; they just are quiet. It's like a telepathic communication instead of speech. But I lost my train of thought just now.
Yeah, you were focusing on
I saw the clock,
yeah.
and I'm like, "Can I do this in 3 minutes?"
Yeah.
Oh, so yeah, this
Oh,
guy was
okay.
like, he was looking at this guy and getting a frustrated look on his face. And then I thought they were going to fight. And then he just shook his head and he walked away. And I go, "Who was that?" To 2 people that were right with me. And they go, "Who was who?" And I go, "The guy that was just standing there staring at him, trying to looking like he was mad." And they're like, "There was nobody here." And I go, "Yes, there was. He had blonde curly hair and a baseball cap, and he was just." And I got up to go look for him, and he wasn't there. And then
Wow.
then that person goes, calls up his cousin and says, "Send a picture of your dad to me. I think your dad was just here," and it was his dad or his cousin's father,
Wow.
his uncle.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah. So he was
So-
frustrated because he couldn't see him.
So you
I
can
saw.
see the beings on the other side of that veil.
Sometimes. It's not nearly as often as the see-through version. That's a lot easier because then I know what I'm seeing.
We have a couple minutes.
Yeah.
What's the see-through?
So
Version.
see-through version is you can see through them. Sometimes it's their whole body, and sometimes only part of their body that comes through, and it kind of flickers and in and out. And sometimes they're an orb, and they spread out their energy, and it can expand throughout to the entire room. And I got the mist again.
Oh.
Are you seeing the mist? in
No.
here? So
I don't see any
misty.
right now.
It's misty. So what was I going to say? So this is just one conversation we're going to have about this type of thing, because this podcast is all about beyond reason, things
That's so beyond
things
reason.
about the in between and far beyond. So
That is far
what I was
beyond.
just talking about was the in between
and the far beyond.
and the far beyond is right here. Right here. There's no separation between you and your loved ones. Know that. When you feel them, you're feeling them. Trust yourself. Like you
That's
trust
right.
your throwing of the cards.
And they
so
come to
naturally.
us, and they come to us in dreams too. They
That's
come
right.
to us in any way that we're open to receiving. So
Absolutely.
they can come to us through songs.
Tell us your
music.
stories in the
Yep.
comments.
We want to
and,
know.
We would love to hear your stories.
Please.
And if you have questions or if
Hit the like and
If
subscribe.
anything ever happened that made you feel uneasy or fearful, we're the ones to ask.
Yep.
And there's nothing to fear. You're in unconditional love, in a pool of unconditional love with the universe.
It's the highest frequency that exists. Okay, until next time. See you
next
later.
time. Bye.